Hey guys, Coach LZGlowz here. In today's lesson, we will learn when and how to fight when attacking and when defending. By the end of this workout, you will have the skills and mindset to properly engage in fights with your team to not only win rounds, but to condition the enemy team to be pressured by you. I also would recommend checking out How Your Agent is Impactful to get an idea on how your agent's abilities can impact taking a fight. Let's warm up by playing 1 to 2 swift play matches. Try playing with your team when you can. When a teammate dies, ask yourself if you could have saved them. When you die, ask yourself if that was a necessary fight to take. Could a teammate have traded you out? Could you have played an alternative objective like time? Asking these questions will help you prepare for the rest of this lesson, since all will be answered by the end. When attacking, it's very important to play with your team. Going off of that, it's very important to trade your teammates. This is because when attacking a site, as long as you trade picks 1-to-1, your team should still have numbers advantage. This is because the enemy team will almost never have their full team on one side, let alone the one your team happens to attack. So when a teammate swings and fights, it's important to swing and fight with them too. It's better for 2 people to fight one person than only one. If your teammate swung, fought, and died, you should, if you haven't already, swing and try to fight the guy they died to. This is because if you choose not to fight, you're giving the opposing player time to reset their aim, reposition, and time to get back up from their team. If you are too far away to trade your teammate out immediately, it may be best to wait and coordinate with your other teammates, since the situation has resetted. If a teammate swung by themselves and died immediately, or swung and died to multiple people, you should also wait and coordinate with your team. If your teammate died immediately, that means the enemy player most likely didn't take any damage and doesn't need to reset their aim or reload. So peeking by yourself will put yourself in the same 50-50 situation as your dead teammate. It's also now even more risky for your team, since if you die, then your team is now down 2 members. The same ideas apply when there are multiple enemy players holding an angle. Peeking by yourself against more than one person is already risky, and taking that risk when already down one player can lead your team to have a numbers deficit. So coordinating with your team to double peek and use util like flashes is very important to win fights. You also need to take into consideration your position. 2 people defending main is much more difficult to kill than 2 people attacking from main. People fighting from main only have so many places they can be, and can only be so far from each other, where 2 people defending from site can be both on the left and right side, making it mechanically harder to kill both of them. When you get plant down, when attacking, your team should play defensive. You can position yourself on site where you can hold angles that watch common CT entrances onto site. If this is done, there should be at least one other teammate holding the same entrance but from a different angle. This allows trades to occur and punish the enemy if they peek one at a time. This is considered to be a little aggressive and should be done when teams are even or when your team has greater numbers. Another way to defend the plant is to play off your team's contact. This is done by holding an angle where if a team sees or contacts an enemy, you will be guaranteed to see them when you peek from your angle. This is very strong since most of these angles makes it very hard mechanically for the enemy to kill both players. Another version of this is having you and a teammate holding both sides of an entrance, though this will most likely end in a trade. Doing either of these is the safest way to defend a site. When in big numbers disadvantage, say 2v4, risks are sometimes needed. After planning, you can try and push aggressively, solo or with your teammate to catch the enemy team off guard and get picks to even the numbers. Use good positioning and trading rules as discussed earlier to maximize your chances in winning fights.
One enemy remaining.
When defending, similar principles when defending spikes should be thought about. Since you and your teammates that are defending a site will most likely have numbers disadvantage, you need to take positions and fights to even the odds. Having someone play aggressive at main could quickly get numbers advantage if they get a pick or 2. Just remember that they will be fighting multiple people, so if they die, it's not worth to try to trade them out. If you're defending site with your team, try holding main at different angles to effectively do damage and get kills when the enemy team peeks. This will make it difficult for the enemy team to kill you and your teammates. It's bad practice to try and hold main by yourself or to be in an on-site angle when your team is trying to hold main, so try your best to see what your team does and match/support what they do. If you're holding an on-site angle but you see or hear your teammates fighting people, if the enemy team is focused on your teammates, you should peek from their angle to help your teammates and even get kills. Letting your teammates die so you don't get exposed where you are on site is not always the right call. It's also not guaranteed that the angle you are holding will yield an impactful kills if the enemy team knows about it and clears it properly. When retaking a site, the same things we discussed when attacking applies. The only thing you need to consider is that the majority of people on the enemy team will most likely be on site. You won't have the automatic numbers advantage as you would when attacking a site. Now that we have an understanding on how to take fights, let's try implementing them in an array to match. When on attack, focus on positioning yourself to help swing with teammates or trade them out. Vice versa, position yourself to where your teammates can swing with you or trade you out. Do note that you won't be able to control the decision your teammates make, but we can practice giving your teammates that option. When defending, try positioning and getting picks before the enemy team enters on site. If you are holding an onside angle, try peeking from it to help your teammates. With that, we have covered how you should take fights when attacking and defending. Keep in mind that the effectiveness of being able to swing with teammates or trade them out will depend on your aim mechanics, but try not to worry about being able to effectively swing or trade teammates. Aim is something that will be built up over time, but having good game sense needs to be practiced and performed consistently. Having good fighting habits will put pressure on the enemy team, increasing their mental burden when at a disadvantage. This would inherently make them more likely to choke, giving your team easier fights and wins. I'm Coach LZGlowz. I hope this video helped you out, and I'll see you in the next one.